Hello, my name is Mr. E, representing GoodPennyStockInfo.com, where you can find information about creating profits consistently in the stock market. In this video, I want to extend my video on emotional intelligence by covering the emotion that's common in the market, which is greed. And greed is simply defined as an intense and selfish desire for something, and it's because that notion of selfish, greed gets a bad name, and it's commonly understood as the evil twin to ambition. Ambition can, it's pretty much, oh, that's a good thing. Women say they want a man with ambition, but really really what they want, from what I understand, it's kind of a greedy guy. And because selfishness is not a bad thing, if it involves me, I consider it, myself included. I like to know, how am I benefiting from this? But because the stock market is a zero-sum game, you're making a profit by getting somebody to come out of their pocket for something, and you made a gain while they may have a loss, but that's their problem. Greed. But there's a time and place for greed. Greed has it when it's kept in moderation. Too much of anything is bad for you, but when you keep it in moderation, greed has its place. Because of the guy who's being greedy, he's able to amass some riches or resources, to be able to do some good. I mean, isn't that at any end greed? I mean, healthy. The guy who I don't know, some like Bill Gates. He has a very aggressive business plan. He stomps out the competition, and he's very aggressive. He integrates himself in a lot of places in order to keep his competition down. It's a very greedy business strategy. That's what he's done, back in the 90s. He almost took Apple out of businesses, and he made it hard for other people to get into that field. That wherever Microsoft touched, it made it hard for other people to be in the same market. It's very greedy. But on the back end, Bill Gates does a lot of philanthropy work. He pretty much dedicates himself now to the AIDS in Africa. That's very noble work. His greed led him to have the resources to actually do some good in the world. That's greed kept in moderation. But I heard a quote that something is not a superpower unless it can be used for evil. So greed can obviously be used for evil. It surely can. I don't condone that. See, when you get to that notion, in my personal opinion, you start to talk about narcissism, not selfishness. That's narcissism, and I don't agree with narcissism. But anyway, greed is a double-edged sword, and if you don't handle it well, if you don't manage it well, you will end up causing some serious damage to not only to other people but to yourself as well. Case in point, I had invested in this stock. It was very low. It was under $1. It was like 40 cents or something, and I held on to it. And in 2 days, it just so happened to jump up, and I was at like 30% gain right there, like in like 2 days. I was excited. I was like, oh man, this is it. This is going good. And then the next day, it went up another like 5%. I was like, oh, it's still pretty strong. It was just going up. So I'm thinking, hey, this might be one of those, 1,000% gainers that happen. Whatever. I found it. I found the golden ticket. So I kept it going. I even put a little bit more money into it. And keep in mind, I did not have a plan. I'm just going about it like a cowboy, just investing like a gangster, But this stock was going up, and it kept going up, and I stayed in it. I didn't do any kind of take profits where I, take out a certain amount to lock in my profits and nothing. I just I'm gonna maximize profits. Greed. I want the most money I can get out of this. I want to maximize the profits. So all my money was in it, and it kept going up, and it kept going up, and it kept going up, till eventually it got to a point where I was making like a 200% gain. I should have gotten out, or at least took half. That would be the smart thing to do that I know now. But I stayed in it, and then in the over the weekend, it dropped to like a 30% gain from my initial investment. And I was like, oh, I gotta get out now. I gotta get out. I gotta get out. Yeah, I made a profit, but think about all the money I lost by not being smarter about my position. If I'd done increment take profits, I would have had more than that 30% that I ended with in the end. And that's how greed works against you, against yourself. I was a sucker to my own scheme, and you don't want that to happen. That's why you have to be intelligent. Like, okay, all right, I'm getting a little greedy. I know, man. I know I don't want, and it's also the fear kicking in, because I don't want to lose. No, I don't want to be a sucker. Oh, that could have been money I had, but a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So I should have just went ahead and took the money as it is. Done the increment, take profits in my stock investment plan. Now I know that. It was an expensive mistake, but it was a well-paid learning experience that I learned now. Now I know what to do in that situation to get more to maximize the profits for real, in actuality, in practice, and not just what I think. Oh man, I'm getting this money. No, I know now, and that's what it takes. I have to manage my own greed. And that's what you have to do as an investor. You have to manage your own greed. You don't want the green-eyed monster destroying your profits. And that takes and that goes back to emotional intelligence. That's what it takes. So that's my little short video on greed. Be mindful of it, because it will hurt your money if you don't pay attention to it. A little greed is fine. If you moderate your greed, you'll find some benefit from it. But if you let it go wild, let it get irrational and crazy, it will eat up your profit. So that's me, Mr. E on greed. Go to my website, goodpennystockinfo.com. Until the next video.